What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about controlling your emotions is completely wrong? Yes, you heard that right, completely wrong. You've been sold the idea that you need to be a rock, unshakable, impenetrable. But the truth is, it's not about becoming emotionless. It's about learning to master your mind. Today, I'm going to share with you the dark secret behind Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that will teach you how to face any situation with calm and serenity. So, if you're tired of feeling like your emotions are running your life, stick around, because what you're about to discover might just change everything. Why do 99% of people never manage to control their emotions? Because they're fighting the wrong battle. Most of us have been so focused on avoiding feelings, on blocking our emotions, that we've forgotten the true power of emotional control. Stop right there. If you're tired of feeling like your emotions are running your life, you need to discover what the ancient Stoics knew thousands of years ago. This is the secret no one has told you, and it will change your life forever. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glide through life with this unshakable calm, while the rest of us are caught in a whirlwind of stress and anxiety? The answer lies in a set of teachings so ancient and powerful that they've been quietly shaping the lives of the world's most resilient and successful people. And today, we're diving deep into that wisdom. Segment 1. The truth behind Stoicism. The Stoics were more than just philosophers. They were true masters of mental control. Zeno, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. These names might sound like they belong in a dusty old textbook, but let me tell you, their teachings are anything but outdated. These guys knew something that the rest of the world has yet to fully grasp. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. Think about that for a second. How often do we get caught up in the idea that our happiness, our peace of mind, our very lives are at the mercy of external events? We worry about what people will say, what the weather will be like, or whether we'll get that promotion. But the Stoics would argue that this is all wasted energy. They believe that true freedom comes from within, from mastering your reactions, not your circumstances. Take Marcus Aurelius, for example, the Roman emperor who ruled over one of the most powerful empires in history. You'd think he had it all figured out, right? But even Marcus faced daily struggles, from political betrayals to personal losses. Yet he's remembered not for succumbing to these challenges, but for his unwavering calm and wisdom. His secret: a deep understanding of Stoicism, the philosophy that teaches us that while we can't always control the cards we're dealt, we can always control how we play them. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do I actually do that well? Here's where the Stoics really shine. They didn't just preach lofty ideals, they offered practical, actionable strategies that you can start applying right now to gain control over your emotions and, by extension, your life. Segment 2. Stop fighting your emotions. Let's get real for a moment. How many times have you tried to block your emotions? When someone says something hurtful, when things don't go as planned, what's your first reaction? If you're like most people, you probably try to stuff those feelings down, ignore them, or maybe even distract yourself with something else. But here's the thing. The more you try to suppress your emotions, the stronger they become. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you push it down, the more forcefully it pops back up. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that the key wasn't to repress emotions, but to accept them. This doesn't mean wallowing in negativity, but rather recognizing that emotions are a natural part of life. Instead of fighting against them, we need to learn to understand them and, ultimately, control them. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic and someone cuts you off. Your initial reaction might be anger, frustration, maybe even rage. It's a natural response, right? But what if, instead of letting that anger take over, you pause for a moment? What if you recognized the emotion for what it was, a temporary surge of energy, and then decided how to respond? The Stoics would advise you to ask yourself, is this situation within my control? The answer, of course, is no. You can't control the traffic or the actions of other drivers, but you can control your reaction. You can choose to let it ruin your day, or you can choose to let it go and move on with your life. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, understanding that while we may not have control over external events, we always have control over our internal state. And here's the kicker: the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. The more you train yourself to respond with calm and rationality, the more naturally it will come to you, even in the most challenging situations. Segment 3. Philosophy in action. So, how do we put this philosophy into action? The next time you face a difficult situation, instead of resisting what you feel, take a moment and observe. This is a simple but powerful exercise that can transform your emotional landscape. First, breathe. Breathing is an often overlooked but incredibly effective tool for emotional regulation. When we're stressed or angry, our breathing becomes shallow and rapid, which only amplifies those feelings. But by consciously slowing down your breath, you send a signal to your brain that it's okay to relax. It's like hitting the reset button on your emotions. Next, acknowledge your emotion. Don't judge it. Don't try to push it away. Just recognize it. Name it if you can. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling anxious. This simple act of naming your emotion creates a bit of distance between you and the feeling, giving you the space to decide how to respond. Now, here comes the crucial part. Ask yourself, is this under my control? If the answer is no, then let it go. Easier said than done, I know. But this is where practice comes in. The more you train your mind to let go of what you can't control, the more peaceful and empowered you'll feel. For example, let's say you're facing a major deadline at work and you're feeling overwhelmed. Your natural reaction might be to stress out, to let that anxiety take over. But what if you took a step back and applied some Stoic wisdom? Instead of letting that stress control you, you could pause, breathe, and acknowledge your feelings. Then, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? You can't control the deadline, but you can control how you manage your time and how you approach the task at hand. By shifting your focus to what you can control, you're reclaiming your power and reducing the emotional burden. The Stoics believe that by mastering our reactions, we could turn even the most challenging situations into opportunities for growth. It's a mindset shift that can have a profound impact on every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your career to your overall well-being. Segment 4. The Stoic discipline. Now, let's talk about discipline, because this is where many people stumble. Emotional control isn't something you achieve overnight. It requires practice, dedication, and, most importantly, self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Roman emperors and a devout Stoic, wrote in his journal every day about his internal struggles, not because he was weak, but because he understood the importance of constantly working on his mental strength. But here's something we often overlook: discipline doesn't have to be harsh or punishing. It's not about denying yourself joy or pleasure. Rather, it's about creating habits that support your well-being and align with your values. It's about making choices that bring you closer to the person you want to become. The Stoics were big on this. They believed that by cultivating good habits, we could gradually train our minds to respond in healthier, more constructive ways. One of the most powerful tools they used was the practice of daily reflection. At the end of each day, they would take a few minutes to review their actions, thoughts, and emotions. They would ask themselves questions like, did I let anger control me today? Was I patient with others? Did I act in accordance with my values? This practice of reflection isn't about beating yourself up or dwelling on your mistakes. It's about learning from them and making a commitment to do better tomorrow. It's about holding yourself accountable in a gentle, yet firm way. And over time, this habit of reflection can lead to profound personal growth. Another key aspect of Stoic discipline is the concept of negative visualization. This might sound counterintuitive at first, but stay with me. The Stoics believe that by periodically imagining the worst-case scenarios, losing a job, a loved one, or even our own lives, we could prepare ourselves emotionally for whatever life throws at us. This practice doesn't mean dwelling on negativity or becoming pessimistic. Rather, it's about building resilience. By confronting these fears in our minds, we reduce their power over us and cultivate a sense of gratitude for the present. For example, let's say you're worried about losing your job. Instead of letting that fear control you, the Stoics would advise you to visualize it happening in your mind. Imagine how you would feel, how you would cope, what steps you would take next. By mentally preparing yourself for this possibility, you're less likely to be blindsided by fear if it actually happens. And in the meantime, you can appreciate the job you have now, rather than being consumed by anxiety. Discipline, reflection, and resilience, these are the cornerstones of Stoic practice. And the beauty of it is that anyone can develop these qualities with time and effort. You don't need to be born with extraordinary willpower or mental toughness. All you need is a willingness to learn, to practice, and to grow. Segment 5. Becoming your own master. At its core, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a path to mental freedom. It's about being the master of yourself, not letting the external chaos dictate your inner peace. And most importantly, it's about finding happiness not in what you have or in what happens to you, but in how you choose to live your life. The Stoics believed that the greatest achievement in life wasn't external success, but internal serenity, the tranquility that comes from knowing that, no matter what happens, you are in control. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you face a challenge, a conflict, or even just a bad day, remember this: you have the power to choose your response. Becoming your own master doesn't mean never feeling upset or anxious again. It doesn't mean living in a constant state of Zen. What it does mean is developing the ability to recognize when your emotions are trying to take the wheel and deciding whether or not to let them. It means cultivating a deeper awareness of your thoughts and feelings and learning to guide them in a way that serves your highest good. One powerful tool for this is mindfulness. By bringing your attention fully into the present moment, you can observe your thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. You can notice when anger starts to rise, when fear begins to creep in, and you can choose to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. Mindfulness isn't about shutting down your emotions. It's about creating a space between stimulus and response where you can make a conscious choice. For instance, let's say you're in a heated argument with someone you care about. Your natural instinct might be to lash out, to defend yourself, to say things you might later regret. But what if in that moment you paused, took a deep breath, and brought your awareness to the present? What if you noticed the anger bubbling up inside you, but instead of letting it control you, You chose to respond with calm and clarity. This is the power of mindfulness. Combined with Stoic wisdom, it gives you the ability to act from a place of strength rather than reactivity. Another important aspect of becoming your own master is the practice of self-compassion. The Stoics taught that while it's important to strive for self-discipline and personal growth, it's equally important to be kind to yourself along the way. We all make mistakes, we all have moments of weakness, and that's okay. What matters is how we respond to those moments. Instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect, practice forgiving yourself, learning from the experience, and moving forward with renewed spirit. Remember, the goal of Stoicism isn't to become a cold, emotionless being. It's about finding balance, embracing the full range of human emotions while not being controlled by them. It's about cultivating a deep sense of inner peace that remains steady, even in the face of life's inevitable ups and downs. If this message has resonated with you, if you feel like it's time to take control of your emotions and live with more calm and wisdom, then I invite you to start practicing today. Leave a comment below telling me how you plan to apply these principles in your daily life. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content that will help you achieve inner peace and live a life full of purpose. Consider this your starting point on a journey toward greater emotional mastery. It's not an overnight transformation, it's a lifelong practice. But I promise you, the rewards are worth it. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of calm, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the tools to handle it. Imagine navigating life's challenges with grace, resilience, and unwavering confidence in your ability to overcome. Remember, control isn't about being an emotionless rock. It's about being an unshakable mind. The Stoics knew it, and now you do too. Are you ready for the challenge? And that's it for today's video. I hope it gave you something to think about and that you feel inspired to take charge of your emotions. If you found value in this content, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who could benefit from it. Let's spread this wisdom far and wide and help more people find the peace and strength that comes with mastering their emotions. I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue exploring how to apply these ancient teachings to our modern lives. Until then, stay calm, stay wise, and keep growing.